Before we get started, I just wanted to make sure to get your verbal confirmation that it's okay to post this on YouTube and that, if there's anything you don't want to be shared, just let me know and I'll send you the edited footage.
Of course, of course. Yes, I consent to this being uploaded on YouTube.
All right, cool, awesome. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, like, your name, age, pronouns, etc.
Well, hello. My name is Crystal Stanley. My pronouns are he, they. And oh wow, sorry. I'm so bad about talking about
It's
myself.
okay, it's okay. Take
Um,
your time.
I go to NJCU high school? Yes, I go to high school.
Yes.
I go to NJCU.
Hmm.
Um, my major is women and gender studies with a minor in sexuality and queer studies. And I have a very extensive earring collection.
That's pretty cool. Are you wearing any today?
Yes, I am. I am wearing my sunflower
Oh,
ones.
that's so cute. I love
Yep,
that.
yep.
That's so cute.
I tried matching with my sweater.
Oh my God, I love that. You have such a cute
Hmm.
outfit. I love that.
Thank you, thank you.
Of course. So did you want to tell us a little bit about how you found out you're neurodivergent? A little bit, about what that was like growing up and that kind of stuff?
Oh boy. Well, I grew up in a Black household, and being neurodivergent and Black has its struggles all in and of itself. Not only is it extremely hard to get self-diagnosed, to get diagnosed by a professional, it can be really lonely. I have always been like this very quirky, unique kid. I was bullied because of my quirks, and I always felt not normal. That I remember times where I would pray to God to make me normal and ask, why am I not normal? I kind of started my whole journey of learning about my neurodivergency by first learning that I have ADHD. It really answered a lot of questions about why it was so hard for me to study and focus for school. It's still a struggle that I deal with today. And um, funnily enough, the thing that led me to learning more about autism and why I might have is TikTok. Um, and I followed a lot of autistic creators on TikTok, adult creators, and a lot of the things that they went through and are still going through, I went through, and I'm still going through. A lot of the trying to find the right word.
You can take your time.
I'm so sorry. A lot of the things that they had, I have, like the behaviors that they would express, the way that they would interact with people, not understanding social cues. Learning more and more about it through the different creators that I followed made me realize, hey, you might be on the spectrum, which led me to do my own research, to learn more about myself. And I gotta say, it was very hard. My mom, she is already very bad with understanding my ADHD, let alone understanding my autism. And being self-diagnosed with autism is also very terrifying, especially as an AFAB person, especially as a Black AFAB person. It is probably one of the loneliest and scariest things ever. And I am also very much queer. So all these very much different intersectional personalities that I have is so it was really hard. It was really hard to really talk to anybody about this, and it felt like I was the only one going through these things. Like, of course, there's the creators that I follow on TikTok, but none of those people are my friends. They don't know me. I don't actually know them. I only know what they bring to TikTok. So I still felt very lonely. And meeting the people that I've met at the Pride Center and meeting more autistic people, although not Black autistic people, still autistic people in general, especially meeting someone that I'm really close with today who's also self-diagnosed in AFAB, really did not make me feel alone anymore. Like I felt seen, I always think that I'm lying or that I'm going crazy for thinking that I might have this, or I'm just trying to do it to seek attention. But then I think back to everything and I think to myself, if I were truly faking this for attention, I wouldn't be worried about faking it for attention. I wouldn't be worried that I'm lying to myself and other people for attention. And it's days like those where I think that I'm just lying and faking that really make it hard for me, but at the end of the day, I do remember that it's not easy to fake being autistic. It's not easy to fake having ADHD. It's not easy to fake both. And I struggle with both of them every single day because a lot of the things that both of them have contradict each other. Yet they they're with me. They are with me. I have both of them, so I struggle with both of them on a constant daily basis. Um, so yeah, I remember the struggles that I go through whenever I start thinking that I'm faking things.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of different topics that like I wanted to touch upon. And I feel like that's a really
Oh,
comprehensive. It's okay. I was just
I'm
like trying to
so
follow
so sorry.
everything. No, you're
I'm so
totally
sorry.
fine. You're good. You're good. I'm just trying to like remember everything I wanted to talk to you about.
I'm so sorry.
So
I tend to do that a lot. So if I'm getting off track, please
no,
bring
you're
me back.
totally fine. You're totally fine. It's your interview. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
No,
Um,
no, it's okay.
no, but basically, and I definitely I feel like there definitely is a disparity when it comes to like diagnosis in communities of color, especially like in the Black community, because I feel like it's just not really talked about. Like there's no real talks about like mental health or neurodivergency and stuff like that.
Mm, no,
No.
sadly.
But yeah, I do want to say that you're not alone and there's plenty of people who do also feel that way. And even if you haven't met them yet, I'm sure that there is someone out there who's completely like had the exact same experience as you somewhere out there. So I'm sure like talking about your story and like talking to other people is definitely helping someone even if you don't personally know them. And also, it's really hard to fake these things. Like,
Yes.
like, I mean, if you go through the effort to fake having ADHD or autism, there's something else wrong with you that like
Yeah.
you should
um,
probably get checked out
I
anyway.
think it's called Munch. How's it? Wow,
Oh,
I'm so bad at pronouncing.
Johnson by proxy. I know what you're talking about. I don't know
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
but I know
yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like there's like most people don't just fake having it, and I mean like yeah you found out about like these different traits through TikTok, which is like a very common thing, and a lot of people be like, oh, you didn't know about this till like the internet, like blah blah blah. I feel the same way. I found out about my about like I found out about being autistic through Tumblr, so I say
So
it's a
real,
different website. I get it,
so real, so real.
but you know there there's definitely like a lot of people like will put down AFAB people for like finding out about it through the internet and stuff, but like I mean, wouldn't it's a little bit better than like I mean, my grandmother literally ate spaghetti every single day for lunch for like 20 years straight. Um
Yeah.
and you know, and was super hyper focused on like all kinds of like very strange mundane things. And it's like, I'd rather find out about something through the internet than live 90 years like that?
Yeah, that is completely understandable. Yes. I get that. I get that.
Yeah. Were there any signs in your early childhood that you were autistic?
Sorry, I was
You're
laughing
good.
because
You're allowed to laugh. It's okay.
Because yes, there were there were lots of signs. In fact, my mom even told me about a time where she took me to get diagnosed for autism as a child, but she took me to a white male doctor.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
he said, "Oh no, they're fine." He sent us on our way. But um, yes, there were lots of signs, but there's one in particular that I tell the story to people, and going through my whole journey about finding out that I'm autistic and that I'm neurodivergent. Whenever I think about this story now, I kind of like, how the fuck did nobody know? um, Sorry for cursing.
No, you're allowed to curse. It's okay. Cursing's allowed.
Okay. So, oh my God, it was when I believe I was in the first or second grade, and during lunchtime, if we had money, we were allowed to go to the vending machine that they had in the lunchroom, and the lunch lady would unlock it, and we'd pay her the money, and she'd give us whatever candy we wanted. I think it was like $1.50, and you can get whatever treat you wanted from the vending machine, right?
Mhm.
And there was this one day where I really wanted some airheads, like really, really badly. It was the only thing that I was craving to have for lunch that day. But my mom didn't give me any money. So I thought that I thought that I could go to the lunch lady and just basically beg her to give me an Airheads because it was the only thing I wanted that day.
Yeah.
And she kept saying no, she kept saying no. And then I threw one of the biggest tantrums you can think of. Like, I'm literally punching, kicking, screaming this lady. I'm terrorizing everyone in the lunchroom. I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm running around the lunchroom. I'm literally just having a full down tantrum and breakdown because I couldn't get the airheads for free, which led to me getting like a week suspension from school, and I got grounded the entire time while I was in my house, suspended and everything. My mom was so upset. I had to stay in the principal's office the entire day. In fact, actually, I had to stay in the principal's office a lot as a kid
That's
when I was in
okay.
when I was in the first and second grade because I was a troublemaker. Um, which yeah. And so yeah, that one that is probably like the biggest one. I was like, hmm,
Hmm.
I don't think
That's a very
a neurotypical
specific
kid.
reason to throw a temper tantrum
Yeah, over some airheads.
over
Like,
some
yeah,
parents.
there are going to be kids that they're going to want something and they're going to throw a temper tantrum, but they're not going to have a full on breakdown where they're hyperventilating and crying because they can't get something. And oh, let me think. I also have trauma, so my childhood's a little blocked off.
That's okay.
So I gotta think. Oh wow. Brain said that it's gone. Everything is gone.
It's okay. If
Um,
you can only think of one example, you can only think of one example. That's all
I
right.
feel bad though, because then the imposter syndrome's gonna enact. It's gonna be like, you're lying.
You can always come back on the channel whenever you think of things. You're always welcome
um,
back.
I can't think of anything more specific than that, but I trust me, there were lots of instances.
Hey,
Um,
I mean, that sounds like autism if I've ever heard it.
I mean, I guess the other thing would be the food that I ate when I was in like third through, I want to say, sixth grade, before I transferred from my middle school to a different one. I would only bring one specific thing to lunch, and that was a PB&J sandwich on white bread, and it had to be cut in the diagonal way. If it was cut in half, I would literally be murdering people, and like
Yeah.
in the horizontal way. If it wasn't diagonal, I'm killing you and your mother. That's what
It
I
has
had.
to be like the it has to be the
Yes,
right way. You gotta do
yes,
it
it had
right.
to. So it would always, or it would be like, I had like two variations of this, right? I had the PB&J that had to be cut, and I had a turkey with Swiss cheese that had to be cut the same way. Those were the two different sandwiches
Those are good
with like,
sandwiches.
I think like some type of juice, and it would always be my favorite type of juice. I have multiple favorite types of juice, but if it varied off of those favorite types of juices, I'm killing you and your family. Um, and yeah, so I would always have like around the same lunch, and I also very much hated change. I know these sound very like stereotypical, but it's my life. I guess I'm the stereotype. Whoopsie daisy. Didn't
Hey,
mean
it's okay. You're
to.
allowed to not like change. Nobody likes change. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that is what I give.
Nice. Have you ever tried to like actually get diagnosed? I know for me, I'm still self-diagnosed because I tried to go to the doctor for. I'm like, hey, I think I have autism. Can I like go get diagnosed? And they gave me three places. One wasn't taking my insurance. One wasn't taking new patients, and the other one's like was like almost $300. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, not paying that. No.
um,
Well, I'm in college. I can't do that. So like, have you
that
had
is
any similar experiences?
well, yes and no, because usually whenever I bring up the topic of being autistic to my mom, because I'm on her insurance, so I have to
Mm.
go through her insurance, it kind of stops there at that conversation. It's like she seems to be all for it at first, but then it's just like cut and dry. Like I hear nothing else. Like I don't know. It just
She says she hears you and then nothing comes of it.
yeah, essentially, it's like I've gone to her multiple times about wanting to get officially diagnosed because although it's extremely scary, it will help me a lot in the long run, especially for jobs and for any other endeavors that I might want to do.
Accommodation time.
Yeah, accommodations, you already know. But I don't know, it's just she's already extremely ableist when it comes to my ADHD. In fact, she doesn't even view it as a disability. She views it as a mental illness, which is already because she puts it in the same category as my depression and my anxiety,
It's not the
which
same.
it's not the same, but she never really wants to understand. She never wants to listen about my ADHD. So I highly doubt that if I were to get a diagnosis, she wouldn't. She's not accommodating for my ADHD. I highly doubt she'll be accommodating for my autism. So it's kind of it's kind of like a mixture of all that of I want to get diagnosed and I want to be able to get the proper accommodations that I would need, but it's kind of like I don't want to put the blame fully on her because she's a human, she's doing all she can, but all she can isn't enough.
That's totally
And
fair. I mean, those are two contradictory opinions, but you're allowed to have both of them.
I mean, it's more so I'm not when I say those things, I mean like the whole like oh I'm doing the best like hold on, let me gather my words, excuse
Take
me.
your time. It's okay.
When you go to your parents to tell them something that they did to you as a kid and it like hurt you really badly and they'll be like oh well I'm doing the best I can, like yeah you are, but the best you can is not good enough. it is
Yeah.
not it's not enough for me, so
Like, I know you're doing the best you can, but I need a little bit more help because of certain
yeah.
things, you know?
And and my mom, she just can't give me what I need, and the accommodations that I need. She wasn't able to do it for me as a kid. She's definitely not going to do it for me as an adult. Which also going back to when you asked me to talk about myself, I think I forgot to say my age. I'm 21.
Right.
So sorry about that.
It's
Um,
okay.
but yeah, so I yeah, it's kind of just really wanting to try and open up to her about it and having to go through her essentially because I
Yeah.
am still dependent on her and still on her health insurance. But not really being able to get there because at the end of the day she's ableist regardless. There's no better way to say it, but at the
I
end of the day
completely
she's
understand where
ableist.
you're coming from. No, totally understand. I get it. Don't worry. I would just say maybe talk to your like if you have a general practitioner, bring it up next time you go in for your like general appointment. Like, if you get like a flu shot once a year or something, maybe bring it up
Mm,
then. But other than that, hopefully you get on your own insurance soon and are able to make that decision for yourself.
hopefully, I'm praying, but
Yeah.
with the way this economy is going, I might
I don't know about that one.
I might be dead soon. Who knows?
Please don't die. I like you.
Anyways, yeah.
I also one thing I wanted to mention, you said that a lot of the times your mom puts your neurodivergency in the same box as mental illnesses, and like that can be like it might be hard to see that as a disability. I did want to just differentiate for those who are not in the loop that what's it called? That mental illnesses can be like this a disability, but normally like with things like autism and ADHD, like mental illnesses can be like can cause you to be unable to do certain things, but it's not necessarily like I do me mentally ill, but I'm taking my meds and stuff, and it makes me able to do some things and not others. But like with autism and ADHD, like the foundational society we're like built into is not accommodating for people like us. So therefore, it is like its own little box, and I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that. So I just wanted to add that in. If you had anything else you wanted to add on to it, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you just said. And I guess um what I would like to add is a lot of the time, because the topic of ADHD and autism has been so prevalent nowadays, people tend to latch on to certain oh, what is the word? I can't think of the word, but like key words like stimming or hyperfixation or special interest or any other variation of like keywords that are usually linked with ADHD and autism. And a lot of the time, what happens is people misuse those words and misuse those terms, which also leads people to putting ADHD and autism into this box of, oh, it's just these certain things, and they only take like the quirky, like I guess quote unquote good sides of ADHD and autism and view it through that lens, which is at least in my eyes, a lot of people don't see the severity of what it is like to have ADHD and or autism and or both. It is not just having a quirky, cute little hyperfixation or special interest. For some people, they are physically unable to do anything. For some people, they need a lot of help. Um, for some people, it can leave them feeling like I can't think of words. Wow. I'm so,
It's okay.
yeah, I'm almost there,
You're
but
good.
yeah, it, it's hard. It's hard. And,
And there's some things
uh,
that some autistic people and some ADHD people can do that other people can't. Like I know,
yeah,
like there are some autistic people I know who like are able to work in grocery stores. I can't even go into a grocery store most of the time. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
different for everyone. Or like concerts. I love concerts. There are some people I know who cannot do concerts whatsoever.
that is me. I am perfectly able to go into a grocery store and shop and do what I need to do. But concerts are,
No.
no, thank you, no, thank you. But funnily enough, I can literally listen to music that is just blasting in my ears at high volume, but I cannot do concerts.
But you can control the noises that are in your ears. It's okay. It's
Yes,
you
yeah.
get to choose it.
Actually, that is something that
That makes
I
sense.
could go on about control being a big part of my autism and okay, anyway, sorry. Back to
You can go on about it if you want. It's okay. You can talk about it.
no, I don't want to like diverge because I will go on an entire rant.
That's
I
allowed. You're allowed to diverge. It's allowed.
well,
I'm
if
interviewing
I
you. I want to hear about your experience.
if I must.
No, you must.
um, a big thing for me and my autism is control. I have a pretty big problem with it. I essentially hate noises that I cannot be in control of. So with my music, I can control the volume. When going to a grocery store, I can have on my noise canceling headphones, listen to music, or be in my own little world and be able to go to where I need to go. Um, if I cannot control the noise or if I cannot control what's going on in the environment I am, I will literally kill myself. I will implode and I will want to die.
I
Like
completely understand. It's okay. I get it.
going shopping, I can go grocery shopping by myself. Going grocery shopping with my mom or with anyone else, it is literally hell because I cannot control which aisle we're going into, how much time we're going to spend in each aisle, what we need, this, that, and the third, and when we're leaving. I can't control any of those variables, especially if I'm going with my mom. She's the one that drives. I cannot drive. So if I'm like somewhere in Bayonne and we're going to like the shop right in Bayonne, or we're going to the Walmart, the yes, the Walmart in Bayonne, I can't control when we leave. I can't control what my mom does because she's doing her own thing. And little things like that, excuse me, start to build up and it makes me start getting really overstimulated and really overwhelmed. And then I start to have a breakdown. And it's not fun.
Yeah.
And so yeah, even like if someone's like eating the wrong way or breathing the wrong way, hate to say it, but even that makes me want to thrill up and die because it's like, "Oh, why you did it to me?" Ugh.
I
Sometimes it
understand.
gets sometimes it gets so bad that even if I have my headphones in and I'm blasting music, I can still hear the noise through all of that because my brain decided to focus on that. That is all. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That is a very accurate description of what it's like to have autism. That is a very common experience.
Yay! Let's go.
um, how has being autistic and coming to terms with that affected your life?
Ooh. Um. Well, if I guess I would say that it has answered a lot of my questions. Um. It made me feel like I'm not going crazy and that although my version of normal isn't everyone else's version of normal, it's still normal to me and it made me feel more normal in a way.
Yeah.
Um, and it made me feel like now I have something to put onto everything I've been feeling. Well, not everything, but to most of what I'm feeling.
You have
Um,
words for the bad feelings that have been like following you around.
Yes, yes, essentially. Like for example, I recently found out what PDA is, and PDA does not stand for public displays of affection, not for autism.
Yeah.
It, oh my God, what is it? I'm so bad at remembering names. Hold on. Let me look this up so I can inform the audience. You
Yes.
know, I don't want anyone misinformed. Yes, that's how you spell things. Oh, here it is. It is called pathological demand avoidance. Oh, you even looked it up as well.
Yeah.
Yep, pathological demand avoidance.
Hi, editing trick here. Say hi, everyone. Pathological demand avoidance is a disorder and subtype of autism spectrum disorder defined by characteristics such as a greater refusal to follow the requests of others. It has its own traits that are separate from autism, and they generally meet diagnostic criteria by having significant difficulties in social interaction and communication. Alternatively, they may be diagnosed with ODD, which is like oppositional defiant disorder. Those who propose that PDA should be a separate diagnosis has observed that children with PDA are more, observed to be more sociable, have better skills and understanding, use apparently socially manipulative and shocking behavior, tend to be more interested in people than objects, tend to be more comfortable with pretend play, and tend to be more imaginative. This term was proposed in 1980 by the UK child psychologist Elizabeth Ann Newton.
And for those who don't know, that essentially in an autistic person is, let's say that you want to go do the dishes, right? You've already decided you want to do the dishes, you've made up your mind, you're literally in a process of doing it, and then someone butts in and is like, "Are you gonna do those dishes? You should do those dishes. Can you do those dishes for me right now?"
Nope.
Something in your brain is telling you, we need to stop everything we're doing right the fuck now. How dare this person tell us what to do as we're doing it, and it stops you from doing it. And now you no longer want to do it, you can't do it, you don't even want to think about doing it altogether. That is something I have struggled with my entire life, and I never understood why. I never knew why I was like this, and I never knew why I couldn't just deal with it and just do it, even though someone just asked me. Even if I'm doing it right now and someone asked me, why couldn't I just continue to do it? And with realizing I'm autistic, you get to find out many of the other different terms that come with the different like behaviors that you might express because of your autism. And that is one that I deal with on a daily basis. And now that I finally have a name for it, that I
You're
finally
like,
have something.
okay, this is something I can work on because I know what
Yes,
it is.
yes, yes, essentially, because I have dealt with that ever since I was a kid. It and it's always confused and baffled me, and it's made me feel so horrible and bad about myself because I didn't know why I couldn't just listen to this person. But that is the reason why. And the reason why is because it, and the reason why I have that is trauma, as always. And at some point when you were a kid, you like your brain created like the oh, I am so bad at scientific words.
Okay, take your
But
time.
essentially you learned the behavior of you're about to be hurt because this person is telling you what to do, so you need to avoid it at all costs. That's like a very simplified version of it, but to sum it up, that's kind of what it is. I do highly recommend anyone that might be watching this, if you are more interested in this, please look it up because it actually has taught me so much about why I do the things I do. But yeah, so learning about my autism and learning that I have autism has really helped me to put behaviors that I express into different categories because I am a big I need to put this in a category right now. I'm going to implode person. Um, Also fits into the control part of my life. And so I now have like a word for different behaviors that I express, and it makes me feel so relieved and normal. And again, although my normal is not everyone else's version of normal, for me, it is normal, and I finally feel normal.
That's good. Um, you said you also experienced bullying a bit as a kid because of being autistic. Do you want to talk a little bit about more about that?
Yeah, so I guess I was bullied a lot as a kid. Like from the grades of like I want to say first grade all the way to eighth grade, and it stopped when I went into high school. And I guess I had a mixture of not being able to pick up on social cues, so I never really realized fully how bad the bullying got, but I also was able to pick up on it because I recognize patterns. That is also a big part of my autism. I recognize patterns very easily. So I can predict the ends of movies or books or whatever I'm currently eaten up at the moment. um, and so at first, I didn't really realize what was really going on. I just thought that, people were trying to be nice and be my friend after not really liking me. But after picking up on certain patterns and certain things that were repeating, I realized that I was getting bullied. And the bullying got really, really bad. I want to say around the third grade to halfway through my sixth grade year when I moved out of that school and transferred to another one.
Mhm.
Um, and when I tell you that was hell, that was hell. It was a big part of why I have depression now, why I have really bad anxiety. Like I have severe depression and severe anxiety. Um, and I went down lots of really dark paths, and people were really mean. And every time I talk about it, people were just like, oh, well, it's just kids being kids. It's just kids being kids. Yeah, well, I was a kid too. I was a
Exactly.
kid too. And now I have depression and anxiety because of it. Um,
Because they're kids doesn't give them an excuse to be like mean.
yeah, actually, I remember one time when I was in therapy talking about this. My therapist quite literally said, because I was talking about how I also enjoy fiction and how I view it as an escapism type of thing to,
I
cope with life. And I was talking to her about that, and she literally told me to write a fictional story, giving excuses to my bullies, making my mother the antagonist to my story, making myself the protagonist, which for some people it works. For some people it's fine. I guess my biggest thing was her saying to give excuses to my bullies because they're just
Yeah, there's
kids.
no excuses.
And yeah, I don't even remember half the names of my bullies nowadays. I don't know what they're up to. I haven't even looked into them, but I still sometimes remember being a kid, just being really lonely and wishing I had like a genuine friend. I thought I did. I thought I did. Her name, I still remember her name. Pray to God that she does not watch this. But her name was Jade. I'm not gonna say the last name. Her first name was Jade.
Okay.
And I thought that she was my best friend. I thought that she truly liked me and cared for me. And I guess this is where the autism activated. There was a time where she literally came to me and was like, we can't be friends anymore, at least in public, because you're not cool and I want to be cool and I want to be friends with the cool kids. So we can't be friends in public, but we can be friends in private. And my little autistic child brain was like, oh, okay, cool, we can still be friends. I'm fine with that. Um,
Yeah, no, why are you not comfortable with hanging out with me in public?
Spoiler alert, it was not great. I probably got bullied the worst by her and her little minions. And I remember in about the fourth grade, she created this club. It was called the Cupcake Club. And essentially, all of her little friends would bring in homemade cupcakes or whatever, and they would go and they would just sit and eat cupcakes and like gossip. And I so badly wanted to join because I love cupcakes. That was the sole reason I wanted to join.
I mean,
I
it's
fucking
Cupcake Club. I want
and
to
I
join.
even wait till you hear the ending because it's bad. And so I really, really wanted to join because I love cupcakes. I loved baking as a kid, and I wanted to make some cupcakes for my friend and her friends and have a grand old time and
I
gossip
mean,
and do
hey,
cute little things.
if you want to make some cupcakes, come hang out. Like, you're always welcome to do that. That's an awesome thing to do. I love baking. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and I very badly wanted to do that. I went to her so many times. I went to her friends because like they needed like a president and a vice president. I asked them, and I even asked the teacher that was in charge of watching over the club because we're in middle school. We need a teacher supervision. I asked her. I was like, please, please let me join. I so badly want to join. And every time I asked, they were like, "Oh, you can't join because of this reason. Oh, you can join. You just have to do this." And every time I had to do something, they would be like, "Oh, sorry. You didn't do it right," or something like that. Like they always found an excuse to not let me join. Until one day I found out the reason why. The sole purpose of that club was to gossip and talk shit about me.
That really sucks.
Yeah, it was to literally just talk shit about me. And the worst part is that the teacher was there listening to all of it and she didn't stop it. She's a teacher and
She
we're in fourth
should.
grade. She should have stopped that, but she didn't stop it. She
Yeah,
didn't stop it. So
that's
that is the
important.
entire reason why I couldn't even join that club. I I forgot who told me. I think it was one of my childhood friends, funnily enough, who had a very strange relationship. Not like any type of like romantic or anything, because we're still kids. We don't even really understand anything.
Yeah,
But more so because she was a childhood friend and we were really close as kids, but then kind of grew apart because of the same reasons of I was the most bully kid in my grade and she wanted to be popular because
yeah,
popularity was all that mattered. But she was still sometimes really nice to me. Um, and I think she was the one that told me.
yeah.
So yeah. And I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even remember how exactly I felt. after learning that information. I think I was hurt, and then I kind of just like was disappointed really because like
Yeah.
wow, you made an entire club to shit talk and eat cupcakes and just to talk about one person. Oh my god, one thing,
You're
I'm
good.
so sorry.
You're good. You're
one
good.
more one more really really big thing that the kids in my class love to do to me. You know the cootie game, the circle
No.
circle dot dot. You don't? Well,
Oh, like circle, circle, dot, dot. Now you got the cootie
yeah,
shot.
yeah, like
That one.
circle circle square square. You can't touch me anywhere. That game. That was a huge game back when I was in school. Huge. And being the most bullied and I don't want to say hated, but I'm gonna say hated anyway. Hated kid in your class. They decided to name that game after me. It was my dead name, of course, because I wasn't going by Crystal when I was a kid. But
Yeah. But
it would
still a big
be
move.
they would they called it my dead name cooties. And essentially, if I was even around them, if I breathed the same air as them, if
Yeah, I
I
got the cootie shot.
accident yeah, they had the dead name cooties and they had to either give it back to me or give it to someone else. It's kind of like the cheese touch from Diary of a Wimpy
Yeah,
Kid.
no, I understand. You do
Yeah,
not want to
yeah,
get the cheese touch.
yeah, except I was the cheese. I was basically the cheese for the entire time I was there. And so yeah, that was also a really big thing. And still, oh my God, I keep saying that I have one more thing, but I actually do have one more thing
It's
because
okay. Say as much as
I
you want to
keep
say.
I keep remembering more and more stuff.
That's
um,
okay.
but to finish off with the cootie game. And I went along with it because I was desperate for any type of connection with anybody, with any type of friendship. And I don't know why. I desperately wanted the kids that bullied me to like me. I guess it was kind of like that same thing of you want them to see you as a person of value at least once in your life. And the only time they saw me as value is when they could make fun of me. So
You just
there
kind
was
of went
that.
along with it because they were
Yeah.
your attention.
Yeah, essentially. It wasn't even because just had to deal with it. It was purely because they were giving me attention. And I didn't get enough of it at home because my mom was one of those moms who dropped me off into aftercare that the school had and leave me there for hours. I was always the last kid picked up. Every after school program that my schools had, I was always the last kid to be picked up because
It's always busy.
anyways,
I
let's
understand.
not get into let's
It's
not
okay.
get into
I get
that.
it. You're allowed to complain. You're allowed. It's okay.
Um, um, and then the last thing is when we were in a fire drill. And again, this is still in the same like middle school from third to sixth grade. Um, and oh wait, I lied to you again. I actually had two more things.
That's okay.
And we were in a fire drill, and we were lined up, and they separated the lines by gender, so girls were in one line, boys were in the other line,
Mhm.
and I happened to be standing next to one of the meanest boys that ever fucking lived. Okay, he bullied me ruthless, right? And I was a pretty like I never mind, I lied, and so. We were standing next to each other and my balance is pretty bad. I'm always like what wobbling, what wobbling left and right. And
That
so
is an autism thing.
that I also learned. And I was like, oh, that explains it. That explains a lot. And so my balance is pretty off. So I accidentally bumped into him and I didn't mean to. And I said I was sorry, but then he pushed me back. And in my little brain of mine, my little autistic brain, it went, oh my God, this is friendly activity. Friends do this all the time. You have to do it back harder, of course, so that he knows that you want to be friends with him. And so I did it back harder. And then he did it back harder. And then I did it again back harder, thinking that we were doing friendly interaction.
No,
We
he thought
were
you were
not.
being mean.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Like when I say he was a bully, he was like a bully. So he was just like being a full-on bitch. And I kept doing it because I thought he just wanted to be friendly. Because like,
Yeah.
oh, boys are always like this with their friends. They're always like roughhousing or whatever. And he's doing it to me, so I had to do it back, obviously, to show that like, I'm cool. I'm
I'm cool. I'm one
friendly.
of the guys, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And so it went back and forth until he pushed me into a trash can and I fell
Ooh,
and I scraped my knee and arm. He went unscathed. And you want to know who got in school suspension?
you did
Me. I
for
got in school
because you
for
started it.
yes. And I literally was bleeding. Like I was bleeding down my knee and my hand and I got in school suspension
That's
because he
so
like did
naughty.
like this whole little woe is me uh not to misgender myself, but I am talking about my past self.
Yeah, you're good.
She started it, like it's her fault, like she pushed me first, blah blah blah. And I got in school suspension a lot as a kid, and I'm realizing it's probably because I'm
Yeah.
delicious, delicious. Again, when I tell you I was in the principal's office
Yes.
and as a kid, I moved schools so often, and without fail, every time I would be in the principal office at least like a couple of times that year. And I was always like a troublemaker. And so that brings me to my other one where we had music lessons as a kid. And as you can see, this entire interview, I've been very like talkative with my hands and with my whole body, with my body language.
As
I
one
talk a lot.
does.
Yes, I talk a lot with my hands and with my body and all of that to express how I'm feeling.
Exactly.
And that did not that did not exist when I was a kid. I was always talkative with my hands. I always talked with my hands, especially with my arms. I'm a very big arm motion. And so we were in music class. And again, we were lined up, not separated in lines. We were all just lined up in one line. And I'm talking to one of my friends, and I'm talking and I'm moving, and I don't know who's behind me. So like usually I was the tallest, so I would be towards the back of the line. So I'm thinking I'm the last one in line, that there's no one behind me. So I'm not really like being cautious with my hand movements, which I should have been, but I was a stupid like middle schooler. I didn't know nothing about nothing. And so I'm talking with my hands and then I accidentally I accidentally elbow someone in the face.
No.
And when I realized it, I turn around and it's like one of the sweetest boys in our class. His name was Peter. Um, he's a white boy, by the way. This is important to the
His
story.
name is Peter. I figured that much.
And I turn around, it's one of the sweetest boys in our class, and I'm like, oh my God, Peter, I'm so sorry. I completely didn't even know you were behind me. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? This, that, and the third. I'm like profusely apologizing and showing worry on my face. And this little boy, you sis, he said I did it on purpose. On purpose. And I'm so confused at the moment. I'm like, what is going on? Why would I do this on purpose? What are you
I,
talking about?
I
I'm like,
wouldn't want to hurt you.
I'm like, you're like one of the sweetest boys in class. Why would I want to hurt the sweetest boy in class? What are you talking about? Right. And I'm trying to explain, no, it was an accident. I really just didn't know you were behind me. I'm so sorry. I truly am sorry. Do you want help? Do you want some tissues? Like, I really didn't know you were behind me. At this point, I knew I fucked up. I should have been more careful. And I was very sorry. I
Yeah.
truly did
You
not
knew
know.
you made a mistake.
Yeah, I really was like, oh no. So I was trying the best I could to be helpful, and he's crying and screaming that I did it on purpose, that I hurt him, I hit him on purpose, that I did this on purpose, this, that, and the third. And of course, the teacher comes over and is like, what happened? And before I can even explain anything, he just goes on and on about how I did this to him on purpose. Now he's having a nosebleed. I did hit him quite hard, and for that, I'm like, oof, oh no. And I really, really do regret doing that. But I was trying, like, I did not do that on purpose. And I
You made a
tried to
mistake.
explain, yes, I was trying to explain to the teacher and to him, I did this by an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't even know he was behind me. He's shorter than me. I'm usually in the back of the line by myself because I'm the tallest. Hello?
Yeah.
And so I'm going on, and the teacher sends us to the principal's office, and the principal, obviously seeing the skinny white boy crying profusely with a bleeding nose, sides with him and gives me in school suspension. And the entire time, I'm like, I don't understand. I said I was sorry. I'm so confused. Why am I getting punished? I mean, like, I understand why I'm getting punished. I it was by an accident, but I did still hurt him. But why am I being punished so severely
Why are you
and
being
being
punished for something
lied
you did on
upon?
accident?
Yeah, like why am I being lied on right now? Like why would he lie? Like I literally was just more focused on why he was lying. Like
Like,
why would you
actually, yeah, no, I
like why
understand
are you
completely.
lying right now? Like I'm so confused. And yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
not good.
yeah. But I do have a story that goes good.
That's
That was
good.
after I left that school. One of the worst bullies. She was a girl. Her name was Ayana. Oh, she was so. Oh, that girl was so disrespectful. Like she knew how to bark and bite. Like she was not all bark no bite. No, she was bark and bite. Okay, but mostly bark, mostly bark. And she was good at that. She was very good with her words and knew how to tear me down so quickly with a fastness. But when I transferred to an all Catholic school, a Catholic school.
Oh, God, that's cool.
Yeah. In I transferred there halfway through my sixth grade year, and she came to that school, I think around like seventh grade. Now, I was still bullied at the school, but nowhere near as
Not as
bad
bad.
as I was. Nowhere near. I had the tiny little pity friends that kind of like, like the in school friends. Like I actually made some really genuine connections in that school. And she transferred there and she tried to be her whole like top dog thing and like try and control the class. Mm-mm-mm, nobody was having that, and she got bullied out of that school so fast. I was like,
That's
what
good.
you deserve, what you deserve, period. Anyways, that's the last thing. I'm good. Yes.
All right, cool. If you think of anything else you want to mention, you're always welcome back on.
Of course, of course.
Yes. But that's all the questions I have prepared for today. If you think of anything else, you're always welcome back. And if not, I'm glad having you. It was really nice interviewing you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you
Of
having me
course.
on here. I really had a good time with this
I'm
interview, and
glad.
I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thanks. You too.
All right,
Bye.
goodbye.
Bye.